I think the biggest needs that customers are facing is that, as we know, customers always want to make sure that they optimize the revenue or even look at the cost picture, right? So maybe let me answer this both from a commercial side as well as a technical side. So from a commercial side, what we see is that they need to act very quickly to market changes to make sure that they can address the need that new enterprises have, right? And they are different than the normal people. So I think looking at this enterprise is one. The other thing that we saw when we talk with more and more customers is that they also start looking at what are the different technologies that actually start hurting my business, like the OTT technologies, like an eSIM, right? So from a commercial side, I think those are the two things. And then from a technical side, they need to see how they can leverage this new technology. So still the change to VoLTE is important for us. And slowly we also see some uptake coming for 5G SA. So as TOMIA, we are of course fully ready with 5G SA steering, and more operators are coming now to us to ask for those type of technologies. If you first look at the national level, these 5G and low latencies, they of course have a completely different approach, right? You're looking at different verticals, different enterprise, and how can I make sure that I provide the right services and technologies to them. So looking at how can we provide it in roaming, there's a few things that we think that customers will be looking at. The first one is a SEPP, that helps them to improve quality, to make sure that they can monitor the events, have the security in place for the operators, and that makes sure that you can actually provide the same services abroad as well as at home, right? So if you're looking at these 5G and low latency services, I think that's one of the key elements there. And the second one is of course to make sure that the operators and the services are on the right networks even when they're on the roaming side, and I think this is where we're helping as well. Now what excites me the most, I think if you look back in roaming, how many years does it already exist? I think many decades, right? What we see there is that it's constantly changing, and it's becoming more and more dynamic even, right? Where people will say, okay, nothing really changes because when you go abroad, it's the same thing. What we see is that now with the new enterprises, with private networks, with IoT and all of that, they all deserve their own service levels when going abroad. And I think for us as a vendor, but also from a roaming department and operator side, I think that's really exciting to look at those changes. And therefore, as an operator, you need to make sure that you can adapt very fast to those changes. Otherwise, maybe you will lose your business to your biggest competitors there. So I think that for us is the exciting part, the dynamic part of it. What you want to be as an operator is that you want to be able to adapt very quickly to the needs of the market, right? And I think the needs will go more and more to the enterprise market. We see already operators asking for specific solutions, for example, in the insurance industry or for healthcare or for automotive. I think this is where we as TOMIA also try to help operators there. So I think for operators to focus on commercially, let's look at 5G and still this change from VoLTE to 5G, and let's make that happen, because those two technologies, they will enable you to look at these different commercial models that we have. And the third one is definitely the SEPP, right? That will help operators to monetize these 5G solutions even more. Well, like I said, I think what you want as an industry is to adapt very fast to these changes, like I just mentioned, and I think that's what we do in TOMIA. So there are a couple of things that we're looking at. First is the automation. How can we help you to automate these complex processes, right? And make sure that you keep that holistic view on roaming and can adapt very quickly to these changes. What we're doing as well is we're focusing on these different technologies like private network. What is the behavior for those networks? How should we make sure that you can roam on those private networks very quickly and seamlessly, right? That's what we're looking at. And by combining all the technologies that we have right now with the new technologies like the SEPP and the 5G, we give you this full complete technology picture for you to manage your roaming business.